Hi everyone and welcome again to Get Indie Gaming. Such was the response to our episode of indie games to watch out for in 2018. Here today we're going to present 22 other indie games that have been mostly inspired by your suggestions within the comments section of the first video. As previously noted, much of this is predictive. Launch dates no doubt will slip, and there's no doubt that other big name games will be announced over the course of the year. All the games, including those in the intro and outro, have links to their website and if possible to Steam pages, so please feel free to check them out for more info. As per others in this type of showcase, we'll tackle things off alphabetically, which means the first offering in this second part series of indie games we feel are worth looking at is Ape Out. This is a top-down action game featuring a violent, rampaging gorilla that features an evolving soundtrack of drums and cymbals that accompanies the ape's every punch. With a full release lined up for the summer, Baba Is You is a puzzler where the rules of each level are written into the gaming environment. Pushing them around can change the rules, meaning you can move through walls, alter how you look, or even decide that you're going to change the rules of the games themselves. Having played the demo, this fun, innovative and clever thing needs to be seen. First announced on Kickstarter in early 2016, Battalion 1944 is a classic back-to-basics FPS multiplayer, where the emphasis shall be on raw skill. There are no kill streaks or gameplay-altering unlocks. Expected onto early access and game preview before the year's end. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is expected to follow the Metroidvania style of gameplay, where we find Miriam, an orphan afflicted with an alchemist's curse which is slowly turning her skin to crystal. To rid her of this curse, you'll explore a dangerous castle to find the person responsible, coming to the PC and consoles this March. In Chasm, you'll explore the depths below a remote mountain town in this procedurally generated hack-and-slash adventure platformer that's full of treasure, mortal enemies, and abundant secrets to be found. If pixel art's your thing, then the Children of Mortar's superbly put together graphics might have you suitably enthralled. Encompassing a story that spans a family across generations, procedurally generated dungeons and a wide and varied cast of characters, this one suggests an overall fun and wholesome experience. Unveiled last year, the third-person shooter Crazy Justice promises cross-play across the Xbox, Switch and PC. The game will ship with a flexible sandbox design, a dedicated cover system, real-time building options and destructible environments. In what already feels like a game that's 90% of the way there, Dead Cells, with its classic Castlevania-inspired gameplay, pattern-based bosses, and a non-linear progression system with no checkpoints and permadeath, Dead Cells is expected to leave early access at some point this year. Recommended many times by people in the comments section of the first video in this series, Death's Gambit looks to be an action side-scrolling RPG within an alien medieval planet filled with beasts, knights, and plenty of horrors. Distortions is a story-driven musical adventure where players will undertake a journey guided by riddles found within a journal. Using a violin, you'll play unique songs to alter your environment, befriend strange creatures as you progress through this surreal-looking adventure. Another game expecting a full release this year, Ghost in the Tail follows Tylo, a plucky, courageous mouse and minstrel on a dangerous and perilous adventure. Developed for the main by a single person, this one will drop on the PC and later in the year on the Xbox. In development for a number of years and one of the most iconic and striking looking games of recent times, Manifold Garden is expected to ship this year. At its heart we have a physics-based puzzler offering Escher-inspired structures where you'll be able to bend physical laws and mess around with geometry. In Machiavellian we have a mansion management and strategy game with its roots in Dungeon Keeper and Prison Architect, all wrapped together with the cliches of classic horror movies. In this game you'll build your mansion, raise your monsters, lay down your traps and kill off your victims to progress through the villainous ranks. Monaco's Night Market is an adventure merchant simulation game inspired by games such as Animal Crossing. The developers have said that this one, though, has a stronger emphasis on story, crafting, and exploration. In it, you'll discover the secrets behind the local town while managing your daily activities, completing various jobs, going out on quests, and crafting peculiar items in preparation for the weekly night market. While there's precious little information on Killbyte Studios' Mosaic, what we've been shown so far looks highly attention-grabbing. Expected across all major platforms, the game appears to be an eerie, mysterious game that focuses on urban and social isolation. We're assuming a narrative-driven puzzle experience with intrigue aplenty. Coming next, we have a 2D side-scroller with its handcrafted pixel sprites, complex animations, and certainly a homage to the 1980s, blended together with a style that combines the past and future of video games. Or so say the devs. With its time and dimension jump mechanics, RPG elements with a soundtrack inspired by analog synthesizers, Narita Boy will pop onto the PC in December. Necro Barista, aside from a name that simply rolls off the tongue, is a visual novel built within a 3D graphical framework while offering a 2D hand-drawn looking anime-inspired art style. Players will experience the story of a cafe where the dead are able to return for one night to walk amongst the living and have one last cup of coffee. Coming to the PC and the Switch later this year. Having raised over $6 million via Kickstarter, Shenmue 3 is a handsome-looking adventure role-playing game scheduled to launch in the second half of this year for the PC and PlayStation 4. The Journey and Flower developer That Game Company will return this year with Sky, at first launching exclusively on the iOS, with other platforms to follow later in the year. Being called a social adventure game, people will be able to play with groups of up to 8 players. While for now the details are scarce, we're expecting great things to come from this one. Who remembers these guys? Toe Jam and Earl Back in the Groove is yet another successful Kickstarter, where the team behind it have called this the ultimate successor to the 1991 Mega Drive and Genesis game that will include randomly generated stacked levels, dodgy weird looking enemies, and a funky inspired soundtrack. Tuba Brook looks set to offer a single-player sci-fi mystery with handmade miniature scenery. With inspiration drawn from Twin Peaks, The X-Files and Star Trek, this one's expected across the PC and all major consoles and should offer a suspense, mystery and thrills aplenty. And finishing things off for today, one of the highlights of last year's E3 PC gaming show, we have Tunak, an isometric action-adventure game featuring a wonderfully looking tiny little fox. Let's face it, from the trailer it looks very much like a Zelda offering where players are said to be able to explore the wilderness, discover spooky ruins and do battle with terrible creatures. With Tunak bringing things to a close, it's almost time to bid you a fair goodbye. We hope you've seen over our 2 Indie Game 2018 showcase videos things you've liked, and would be keen to see what you all have to say in the comments section below. This year seems it's highly likely that the whole indie scene will take another leap forwards, and we'll be there every step of the way. Thanks once again for watching, and hope to see you here soon for another video.